Air Force One is not just a plane, it is the most recognizable aircraft on Earth. Wherever it lands, the message is instant and unmistakable. The President of the United States has arrived. It is a flying command center, a diplomatic stage, and a symbol of American dominance rolled into one. Now, with Donald Trump once again shaping political conversation and openly discussing leadership, attention has returned to a powerful question. What exactly is Trump's new Air Force One, and why does it matter? The answer goes far beyond aviation. It reveals how Trump views power, image, control, and the presidency itself. Air Force One, more than transportation. Technically speaking, Air Force One is simply a radio call sign used whenever the U.S. president is aboard an Air Force aircraft. But in practice, it refers to two highly modified Boeing 747-200 jets that have been in service since the early 1990s. These planes are not luxury jets, they are national security assets. Inside, they contain hardened and encrypted communications, anti-missile countermeasures, electromagnetic pulse EMP shielding, secure conference rooms, intelligence briefing areas, command and control capabilities for nuclear emergencies. In the event of a global crisis or nuclear war, Air Force One is designed to keep the president alive, informed, and in control. But by the time Donald Trump entered office, these aircraft were already decades old, and in his view, no longer matched America's image. Trump's first impression, outdated and weak. Donald Trump is known for his focus on branding, presentation, and dominance. From skyscrapers to golf courses to private jets, aesthetics matter deeply to him. When Trump first stepped aboard the existing Air Force One, reports suggest he was unimpressed. To Trump, the interiors looked dated, the design felt bureaucratic, the aircraft lacked visual authority. This wasn't just about comfort. To Trump, appearance equals power. He believed Air Force One should not merely function as a secure aircraft. It should project strength, command attention, and reflect a superpower that leads, not follows. And so, Trump pushed for something bigger: the radical red, white, and blue redesign. One of the most controversial elements of Trump's Air Force One vision was its exterior redesign. For over 60 years, Air Force One has worn a light blue and white color scheme introduced during the Kennedy administration, a look associated with diplomacy, stability, and calm authority. Trump wanted something different. His proposed design featured a bold red stripe across the fuselage, a deep navy blue underbelly, stronger contrast and sharper lines, a more aggressive, modern appearance. Supporters praised it as patriotic and powerful. Critics argued it resembled a private luxury jet or even authoritarian imagery. But that reaction highlights something important. Trump wasn't trying to be subtle. He wanted Air Force One to look unmistakable. This wasn't a plane meant to blend in at international summits. It was meant to dominate the runway. The aircraft itself, Boeing 747-8 upgrade. At the core of Trump's vision for a new Air Force One is the Boeing 747-8, one of the largest, most advanced commercial aircraft ever built. Compared to the aging Boeing 747-200 models that have served since the early 1990s, the 747-8 represents a massive technological and strategic leap forward. This upgrade is not about appearance or luxury. It is about capability. The 747-8 is longer, stronger, and far more powerful than its predecessor. Its increased range allows it to fly longer distances without refueling, giving the president greater flexibility during international crises. In practical terms, this means fewer stopovers, reduced exposure on foreign soil, and the ability to remain airborne longer if landing becomes unsafe. Fuel efficiency is another critical advantage. Despite its size, the 747-8 uses modern engines and aerodynamic improvements that significantly reduce fuel consumption. This not only lowers long-term operating costs, but also extends mission endurance, a crucial factor in emergency or wartime scenarios where refueling options may be limited. Inside the aircraft, the expanded internal volume dramatically changes what Air Force One can be. The 7478 provides more usable space for command rooms, secure communications hubs, intelligence briefing areas, medical facilities, and staff operations. This extra space allows the aircraft to function not just as transport, but as a fully operational command center in the sky. Equally important is electrical power. Modern warfare depends on electronics, encrypted communications, satellite links, defensive systems, and cyber protection. The 7478 generates significantly more electrical power, enabling the integration of next-generation systems that simply were not possible on older aircraft. Finally, survivability upgrades take center stage. While the details remain classified, the aircraft is designed to withstand missile threats, electronic attacks, and electromagnetic pulse events. Reinforced structures, hardened electronics, and advanced defensive measures transform the plane into a flying fortress capable of operating in the most hostile environments. For a president who consistently emphasized military strength, readiness, and dominance, the Boeing 7478 aligned perfectly with Trump's worldview. This was not a symbolic upgrade. It was a strategic one. In a national emergency, this aircraft would do far more than transport the president. It would serve as a mobile White House, Pentagon, and Situation Room combined, allowing the commander-in-chief to govern, communicate, and make life or death decisions from the air, even when the ground below is no longer secure. A flying fortress, security beyond imagination. While most of Air Force One's defensive systems are classified, it is widely understood to be among the most secure aircraft ever built. Expected capabilities include advanced missile defense countermeasures, radar jamming, and electronic warfare systems, secure satellite communication networks, protection against cyber intrusion, EMP, hardened electronics. Trump repeatedly emphasized readiness against worst-case scenarios. Under his influence, the focus was not only on replacing aging aircraft, but also on ensuring Air Force One could survive modern warfare, not Cold War threats. The result: a flying fortress built for a world of cyber warfare, hypersonic weapons, and asymmetric threats. Interior philosophy, authority over ceremony. While exact interior layouts remain classified, Trump's personal preferences provide strong clues. From Trump Tower to Mar-a-Lago to Trump Force One. His private Boeing 757, a clear design philosophy emerges. Bold, defined spaces, clear hierarchy. Executive authority at the center. Rather than a soft, diplomatic interior, Trump favored spaces that felt decisive, places designed for command, not compromise. Expected interior changes likely include more defined presidential workspaces, improved briefing and decision-making areas, less emphasis on ceremonial aesthetics, greater focus on functionality and control. In short, less bureaucracy, more command center. Cost, Boeing, and political pressure. The new Air Force One project quickly became a political issue, and Trump made sure everyone knew it. He publicly criticized Boeing over cost overruns, threatening to cancel contracts and demanding renegotiation. For Trump, even Air Force One was a deal to be won. This approach had multiple effects. It placed public pressure on defense contractors. It framed Trump as a cost-cutting negotiator. It politicized a traditionally neutral military project. Supporters saw this as fiscal responsibility. Critics argued it delayed a critical national security asset. But once again, the message was clear. Trump wanted control, even over the most symbolic aircraft in the nation. Why Air Force One mattered so much to Trump. For Donald Trump, Air Force One was never just transportation. It was a visual statement of dominance, a tool of global messaging, a symbol of leadership style, a projection of national strength. Trump understands media optics deeply. When Air Force One lands, cameras roll. When it appears overseas, it becomes a backdrop for power. In Trump's worldview, America should never look secondary, and its presidential aircraft should reflect that. A plane that mirrors a presidency. Every president leaves a mark on Air Force One. Kennedy modernized and softened its image. Reagan emphasized strength and patriotism. Trump sought boldness and unmistakable authority. His vision wasn't about elegance, it was about presence. Whether admired or criticized, Trump's Air Force One reflects how he views leadership: centralized, decisive, visually dominant, and unapologetic. The bigger question: when people ask, what's inside Trump's new Air Force One? They're really asking something deeper. They're asking, how does Trump define American power? How should leadership look on the world stage? What image should the presidency project? Because Air Force One doesn't just carry a president, it carries a message. And Trump wanted that message to be impossible to ignore. Watch the full video to see rare visuals, design details, and why Trump's Air Force One redesign reveals more about power than politics.